Hello everyone. I would like to go through my ArchiCAD building project. So ArchiCAD is basically a BIM software used to design our building elements and frames. So I would like to show you the steps that were carried to create this building project. First, we'll select the design option. Now here we'll go to create grid systems. Here, as you can see, um, in the columns drop down option, uh, columns is selected, and we have to check this box and then go to settings for placing the columns the proper place. So here the width and the cross sectional height and the cross sectional width is given as 300 mm, and the height of the column is given as 9000 mm. So this would be used for 3 floors. Now we change all the classification and properties. Like at first we'll go to segment, then we'll see that the building material we have to select as reinforced concrete structure. Then we have to select the model and add color to the frame or the columns as this one, white rough. Then again going to the classification and properties. Okay, this should be a load bearing element. We have to select from here, and then this is interior. Now likewise, all these settings were adjusted here, and then we have in the layers option we have to select it as columns and then click on OK. Now for that part, now we have to specify the grid positions. These were specified accordingly. The B was at this distance of 500 mm, C at 4500 mm, and D at 4500 mm. And for the vertical grids, the distances were of the grids were as shown. Now we would select this as structural grid and then click on OK. These were already here present. Then we would click it here towards to the place where we want and then place it. Now I'll not create it again. Now the next step we would have to go to the ground floor. We have to open it. Okay, it takes a time. Then going to the plan view of the ground floor. Now here we have to first create the theme elements. For this we have to select okay uh, design option. Why has just gone? Okay, we have to select this beam tool from this design toolbar. Then from these settings we have to specify the dimensions, and the cross-sectional height as 400 mm and the width as 300 mm. Now we have to select this as general structural, okay, and then we have to select the override surfaces and their textures from here as stucco, white rough, and go to the classification and properties and wait. structural parameter. So this would be a load bearing element and it would be standard texture. Okay. And then we'd see the classification and properties. So here its structural function is load bearing and position interior. Then we'd select this layer as beams, then click on OK. After that selection, we would place the beams at the required places at the corners of the grids, like this way, at all these corners. Then the columns grids would be formed. Now we would have to remove the columns from after that from these two corners, namely A1 and A4, and then we have to modify the heights of the columns at A2 and A3 as 3 meter, and at this B2 and B4 level as 6 meters. Please. Okay, after creating the columns and beams at the ground floor, now we would have to create the walls. So for the walls, we'll select the wall tool and then click on the settings. Now we'd have to adjust the geometry. Now here the story should be this one, like this. So there should be a minus 400 from the top, minus 400 because okay. Then the material should be selected as brick. The wall thickness should be 300 mm. Now all these options, all these values should be as per the building plan. Now going to the models panel, now we will have to select this as yellow rough. Then next, going to the structural parameters. Okay, interior position, and then finally we have to select the layers as walls and then click on OK. So the specified properties for the walls are now provided in our design, so we can create the walls as we want. Now we'd have to select the corner points at the outside points of our grid and then click on the change geometry type, then move and click it over this whole outer periphery of the grid system to create the walls. So in this way we can complete the walls also, and then finally we have to select the slab tool and then we have to similarly adjust the properties of the slabs from here, like this: 150 mm thickness and 3150 offset from home story concrete structure, and projection is 3150. Then model type stuccato white. Then structural parameters would be load bearing and shell. Okay. Classification and properties, load bearing and interiors. Okay, after that we have to select these layers as slabs and then click on OK. So now the specified properties of the walls are also provided in our tags tool panel. So we now have to create the slabs also over ground floor, top of the ground floor that is connecting to the first floor. So we select all these floors and the outside corners and cover all this and accept this left side panel and create the slabs for this. So and similarly we have to create, now select the first story, first story, and then create the all the structural elements for this specified grids except this one, and through similar processes done for the ground floor. So all the structural elements like beams, columns, and slabs, as well as walls, would have to be created using the similar steps for the first floor as well. Now going to the second floor, we have to select the open the second story and then create all these elements using the same type, same procedures and steps. Now we would view the 3D model. Now here we would have to now place the doors as per required and select its settings. Seal height, all these can be adjusted here, and doors settings has also to be mentioned here, adjusted. So from all these we have to select and place our doors at required places. Doors and then windows are also to be placed at the positions that we require. And finally we have to place the roofs and selecting the roof and changing its settings over here. Then finally we also have to place the staircase at the gaps provided at both these floors. Then finally our mm, beam design will be completed following all the steps mentioned in the course. Thank you. I would like to end my presentation here. I really learned a lot from the course on ArchiCAD BIM software, which helped me learn a lot about BIM, and analyzing the drawings also can be done here. So finally, I would like to show a drawing document under documentation, and then schedules settings. We can select from all these. So layout blocks, drawing shapes, and publish. Everything can be seen here. So thank you. This is all.